Hey guys, how y'all been so far? Everything good? As the title suggests, I'm deep into making my OCs for some project I'm doing. It's too early to share everything else, so I figured it'll be cool to talk about my process and the experience so far. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for dropping by. If you like my content, consider subscribing, dropping a like, and comment. It's free! So, what you're seeing right now is a drawing I did on a live stream last year. Though much has happened since then, it's always good to start at the beginning, right? Coming up with an OC is easy until it isn't. Most likely, your OC would draw inspiration or would at least be similar to your favorite comic, manga, or show. In my case, this OC, this original character you're seeing right now, draws from the most unlikely of influences. That said, designing my first original character was all about getting it on paper as soon as possible and thinking of the story as well. It's a fun process of mix and matching and seeing what works and what doesn't. Then it gets challenging the deeper you get into it. As said on the title, I didn't get it right the first time. A lot has changed since then, and some of the elements have stuck. So, let's get into the process, shall we? Let's talk about influence or inspiration. As I said earlier, what you create is heavily influenced by your favorite shows, literature, and music. Even your art is inspired by the things you surround yourself with. In my case, it was The Strangest Thing. This OC came to mind from the metal band Sabaton, specifically the song Winged Hussars. Turns out, these were real 15th century cavalry troops in Central Europe, and the metal band Sabaton made a song about it. Also, I was inspired by the movie The Last Kingdom, specifically the Leper King, Baldwin, another real figure in history. So what I'm trying to say is always keep yourself open as influences and inspirations comes from the strangest of places. Stranger Things. Next is designing and basic shapes. A bunch of things come into play when designing an OC. Among other things, you'll have to consider the facial features, age, body structure, costumes, color palette, and tie that all in with the general backdrop of your story. Basic shapes help with designing too, like triangles usually are for villains, boxes or squares are for the tank or the bruiser in the group, the big guys. But that isn't a rule of thumb though. It's just worth exploring in designing. Overall, it would depend on the look you're going for. If this is your first time in designing an OC, like me, just learn as you go and roll with it. Which conveniently leads me to general personality. A great way to get the ball rolling is to have a general idea of what the personality of your character is. Although this category is bordering on the writing phase, it's still a good idea to keep in mind. Having an idea of the original character's personality gives the design a bit of perspective. Like right now, I'm well aware of the changes that will surely come along the way. Like nothing is etched in stone just yet. And I will be talking more about this maybe in another video, like a writing process video, some other time. This character you're seeing right now, well, it's a she. She is brave, a warrior obviously, but not quite in her element. So a bit like a fish out of water situation. I mean, as you can see, she's riding her horse rather awkwardly as she charges the enemy, as compared to the archer beside her in the background, who has his hands full with the bow, riding full gallop head on. So, In this scenario in itself, there's already a story right there. Like questions come to mind like, was she forced into this situation? What's up with the mask? Who is she fighting? Is she leading the charge, or is she one of the warriors? A lot of questions in just one scenario, and this is what I mean. We're giving the art a certain personality, and we're already setting up her personality within the story. But regardless of, speaking of personality, a fun exercise is to rewatch some of your favorite anime or cartoons and pay attention to their design in relation to their personality. Just to give you an example, let's take for example Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man doesn't really have, although he is muscular, he doesn't really have that defiant, broad shoulder posture, but rather he seems a little lanky, which is a reflection of the personality of Peter Parker. So that's an example for design in relation to personality, which leads me to color scheme. Before anything, let me just say, when I did this piece, I had just bought, or rather discovered, color markers. I promise I have progressed just a little bit since then. I did this last year. Anyway, colors are generally associated with personality types, right? Like reds are fierce, purples are royalty, yellow is associated with fun or having a sunny disposition. Although I don't necessarily adhere to it, but I do keep it in mind. That apart from design, visually, your color palette is what will stick to your audience. Take for example, in Naruto will always be yellow and orange, and Sasuke is purple and gray. So visually, the audience or your readers could, automatically relate to your characters just by their colors alone. Another cool way to go about it is to do what digital artists do. Like, they draw one character and copy paste the same side by side and play around with the colors and ideas for each one. Now, like me, I'm more of a traditional artist. It will be cumbersome and a bit of a hassle, especially if you're doing it traditionally, but it's still cool nonetheless. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of a recap. If you have an idea for an original character or a story, roll with it. Get it on paper as soon as you can. Draw it, and if you can't draw, pin similar designs from Pinterest. Write notes what yours will be like. Write it. The backstory, the entire story if you can. The whole goal is to get it on paper because we tend to forget. But in spite of that, be aware that the design will likely change as the story progresses. So be fluid with it. Embrace change when needed. In my case, this being the initial design, a lot has changed. But I was able to pinpoint some design elements that I wanted to retain and just let go of the rest. I will be making another video of the progress of this character so far, so stay tuned. If you're still here at the tail end of the video, thank you. If you found this video slightly helpful and you would want to see more, subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you. As always, stay safe, stay indoors, and stay subscribed. This is Comics on Lockdown.